Hi, so it's Nikki at Polkadoodles. So I just wanted to show you a really nice little card technique. So if you've seen the other video using the Gansai Tambi paints, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I want to show you a different medium. So again, I've got a piece of A4, just black, plain black card here. I'm going to fold it in half. And then what I've done is I've got some post-it notes here, and all I've done is literally kind of like tear a couple off like this, and where the sticky is, I'm going to literally just tear down that sticky strip, just really randomly, to give myself like a random edge. And then I'm going to just use that, and I'm going to do it a different way this time. So I'm going to just mask off a little bit here and a little bit there, and then I've got a couple here that I've already done, that I've already had. So just, you can do this at an angle, as I said before, but it just kind of doesn't always work out that well, so it can look a bit contrived, I find. So just kind of a straight block like this, I think personally works better. Normally I would say, you know, kind of go a bit wacky with it, but on this occasion I actually think it works better like this. Excuse me. So I'm using my Daisydays stamps, which are available from Polkadoodles, and I'm just going to actually use a Versamark ink pad. So these, we have the summertime stamps as well. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do, I just want to curve this a little bit. So, because this is clear polymer, I can actually curve the stamp on my block. Can you see that? So rather than it being like a straight stalk, I just want a curve on it. And I just might have rubbed some ink off there, so I'm just going to re-ink it again. And it just gives me more natural kind of stalk. So let me see, I'm going to do it from this side. I think it might sit better. So we're going to stamp onto black. You can't see that probably. If I tilt that, you might be able to. Just see the picking up the ink there just a little bit on my camera. So I've got a really nice daisy stamp here, and again I'm just gonna ink this up. So always try and ink onto the stamp, not the other way around. And I'm just going to position that so that that daisy is going to sit off the edge where this mask is. And a mask, if you don't know what that is, basically it's just an area that is going to hide something. So we've like masked off this area of this black card, so it means that nothing's going to touch it. So a mask just literally hides something, and that's all that it means. So I'm just going to stamp off the edge here. I've got no idea how my stamping's coming out because I can't see very well, to be honest. And this ink pad, I'll get a different ink pad. I think it's running out, that one. Just get a different one. Okay, slightly better. So I'm just going to, don't think I'm particularly inking well, but it's more about the technique rather than the finished thing here. I'm getting in a mess, sorry. Okay, so what I've got here is some Pastels, and this is amazing. This is like a glittery pastel, and I absolutely love Pastels. And basically it is a pastel, like as in a pastel crayon that we all know and love and kind of like know. But basically with Pastels, they've actually super milled those pastel sticks down, and they've kind of done it so fine that they can actually condense it down into these little pans, and the pan is just literally this, the way that it's done. So this is exactly the same as an artist pastel, but it's actually a lot cleaner and you get much less wastage. Now the reason this one, so this is pure pigment, that's the other thing to mention, pure pigment. So this is the same pigments that would be used to put into a paint of either an acrylic or a watercolour or whatever. Everything comes back to pigment, and this is pure pigment. And the purer the pigment, the better quality the product, because there's nothing alien mixed in there. Now, the reason this one is sparkly is because this is actually a medium. So Pastel actually brought these out about a year ago now. And the reason they brought them out is because we were kind of wanting to use them on dark card like this. And obviously, if I show you, if I use, just dropped everything on the floor. If I use this, I mean, this is a really hyper blue colour. I mean, this is, what's this? Phthalo blue. So it's a really strong colour. So if I put that on dark card, look, you can see it. If I put it on a paler, obviously it's going to show up. So when we wanted to use them on dark card, we were losing a lot of the colour. Now what happens is the medium provides something for the colour, for the pigment to actually stick to. So it sits on top of the actual substrate, the paper or the card, which means that you get a much, much better colour. And also it means that then you can actually start using lighter colours. So again, if I actually put some of that medium on there, look, I'm putting a black on. And then if I just get an applicator and get a light colour. So here I've got turquoise, okay. So if I use turquoise straight onto my dark card, look, I get a little bit on there. But look what happens if I actually dab the turquoise on top of the medium. It sits on top, so it kind of, the medium provides like a barrier, so it means you actually get a much, much nicer layer of colour, so it becomes a lot more visible. It looks like the turquoise has not worked particularly well. This card isn't the best card to work it on, to be fair. Anyway, so basically that's the sparkle. It's called Sparkle Medium. And then we also have a white sparkle medium, and there's a coarse and a fine one. Okay, so that's to explain those. The other thing that we actually have with Pastels is we have metallics, and the metallics are amazing. So basically, these are quite a new addition as well. So really, really rich pigments. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some of this. Now, basically, this little dirty sponge here is a Pastel sponge. It's called a soft sponge, and these sponges are like nothing else. You can use makeup sponges and stuff, but you will not get the same results with a different sponge. And can you see these? I'm getting no dust whatsoever. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm pressing straight onto the where the stamp is, the ink. So I'm going to use here, I've got this silver, just checking I've got the right colour, and I'm just going to dab that on there. And you hardly get any waste at all, and the sponge doesn't soak up the pigment. And that's why the sponge is really important, because if you use a makeup sponge or a cosmetic sponge, basically, well, like how your makeup absorbs into the sponge, and you sort of like go to wash it out and you think, crikey, I've like spent twice as much money here on my foundation because it's all in the sponge. That doesn't happen with this. This looks filthy, but it's only surface filth. And when I wash this off in soapy water, nothing comes out of it. And obviously it's really important because you're not wasting product. We all want to get the most out of our products. And the other thing is, look, I'm only using one sponge for 3 different colours. It doesn't matter because nothing transfers. Although some of these might look dirty, this looks quite dirty here, this turquoise, because this is a colour I use all the time. Use a really nice, soft brush, and look, you just clean it up. And you can actually brush it on if you want to as well. We've got a bit of blue going on in here now. So what I want to do is just, I'm waffling on a bit. So this now looks like a bit of a mess. Okay, if I hold that up a bit to the camera, can you kind of see? So we've got all of this dust and powder on here. So all you need to do is just get, like I say, really nice soft brush. And actually what I'm going to do is just get a dry tissue. Make sure it is dry. And it needs to be quite a soft tissue. So I tend not to do this with a kitchen towel because it can be a bit harsh. And what I'm going to do, now I've pulled that off, I'm just going to pull these masks off. and then just buff that off. Okay, and can you see now, look, you get this really lovely metallic effect. So what we could do is similar to the paint that we had before, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse mask. Okay, so I'm going to actually just very lightly put this on here because I don't want it to lift the ink off. If I do it too hard, it might actually lift off that powder, because don't forget it is a powder and we haven't set it. So what I'm going to do is I want to create just a little border. So just press your ink pad down there, create a border channel, and it will just give you exactly the same effect as we had before. And it's just a different way of doing the same thing, basically. If you're wondering what I'm talking about the video that I've just done that will be on my channel. Oops, just missed a bit there. Just add a bit in if you want to, if you feel like you need to. Missed a bit at the bottom as well. I am rushing, so obviously take a bit more time at home. And then what we can do is actually add a bit more, and I'm going to add that silver back in. And the silver is actually my favourite, because I find with silver, even if I've put like other colours down, if I put the silver on top, it just kind of seems to make it pop. So just, you need to be, really what you need to do is dab, and then you can, once it's actually taken the powder, because basically that ink is going to move, okay? So dab, and then kind of buff, but I'm not pressing down on this, I'm literally just dragging it really, really gently across the top. And then once I've got all of that ink on there, I know then that I can actually go back and buff this off. And look, I can remove this. This is the great thing about Pastels. Look, you thought I'd ruined that, but look, you can take it off. And you can use a rubber and it'll actually get rid of that. So look, just, can you see them? Look at that, it's just fantastic and I love it. And although the paints that I was using before are amazing and I love, the great thing about using the powders and the Pastel powders, sorry I'm just trying to get it in camera for you, is that you can get into much finer detail with it. I didn't particularly stamp very well here, which is why it's missed. So I needed to be on a bit better of a surface. But same technique, two completely different mediums, one wet, one dry. And I hope you find that useful and have a go with it. Okay, bye.